So this might be a little useful video for those who are having scratchy pot issues with the Behringer Model D. So the cutoff frequency, I mean, you can see the finger wear on the panel. The cutoff frequency is probably one of the most used knobs on the Poly D, along with the octave. So, and these start to develop dead spots in the in between the actual notes, and it's due to wear on the switches. Now, I've not been able to find a replacement for this, but I do have backups. So rather than having to buy a new one every time my potentiometers get scratchy, I just rip them out of an old one. However, this is not sustainable, especially with the filter potentiometer. And the filter potentiometer is really not good quality. It looks like a Taiwan Alpha, but I can promise you that is not a Taiwan Alpha pot. I've ordered some Taiwan Alphas and they sent me 10k. This is a 5k linear. That's a 10k linear, so that's no good to man nor dog. Now, these actually don't have a flat on them, but that is very easily remedied with a file, and these little selectors are quite easy to sort of like fit onto a pot, even if it isn't perfect. So what you do is you turn them all to 0, you'd make a reference, you know exactly where it's going to fit, and then you'd file a flat accordingly. Now, it doesn't matter if it's not exactly bob on. So this one is a ripped out of the old one pot. Otherwise I would have used Taiwan Alpha. Now, Taiwan Alpha are far superior components. They do last longer. Everything else in my custom synth I've been building is Taiwan Alpha, and I never have scratches. So just to let you know roughly the procedure, this one, okay, it's mounted in modules, but you essentially have to I'll get the old one out. You have to take all the pots off, all the knobs off, and there's a couple of screws. Sorry, not screws. Nuts holding them to the panel on the oscillators. So once you've done that, it's these that have the nuts on. Once you've done that, you go around to the back, and then there's. Don't want to short that out. Then there's a lot of little earth screws which have to be undone. I mean, of course, you've got to take it out the rack first, but then that means the whole panel lifts off and it's a single panel. Really quite easy to work on. I'm quite good at soldering. However, to get the potentiometer off, you're going to end up heating it quite a bit because it has legs. Now, you're not going to be able to heat everything whilst extracting it. Come on, focus. There we go. You're not going to be able to heat everything whilst extracting it. So my advice to you is either get some wick, soldering wick that soaks up the solder, or get an old solder sucker like I've got. This one's me Old Faithful. Had it for 20 years now. Anyway, so that's the little beastie, and I've just soldered in a new one from the other synth, and yeah, not much different to Behringer's own soldering. Now, it is worth mentioning when you change things over like this, you've got to be really careful not to overheat the circuit board. And there's no crackle. The best place to salvage these from, if I put this here for reference, is the knobs that get used the least. So cutoff frequency is a very common used knob. The only other ones with the same value, I think, are these and the volume. Now that's the headphone volume. So unless you're using headphones a lot, that's probably the prime candidate. And then sustain, I would say, would be the second candidate. Essentially, any pot, if you're salvaging them with B502. Yeah, B502. So there's a couple down there. Now, I've got a couple spare now because I've actually removed 2 from this board, but this isn't sustainable. Taiwan Alpha, they are the best. I hope this has helped people. When I find a solution for these, because they do start to get a bit clacky, I quite like to use rhythmic effects. So you go. sort of like an arpeggiator. But if I do that with with this forever, they start to wear out. Now, because I'm only often doing it with oscillator 1, I've still got these two which are in perfectly good nick, so I'm going to nick those for when that one starts to wear out. Buy two and then you've got all the spares you'll ever need. Apart from that, I found it quite a tough little synth. I mean, I play it to death and I'm just always bending on knobs, so yeah, it's really quite good. There we go. It works.